Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the TTG Esports Mini League 1 rounds number 3 and 4, the second half of the Mini League 1. Welcome to it. Rounds 3 and 4 takes us first to the Singapore Grand Prix and then the grand finale at the Australian Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McGinley. Joining me in the commentary box is Andy Campbell. Andy, how are you tonight?
I'm very well, thank you very much, Kieran. Yep, the dream team's back. It's been a while again, and this time it's to stay because we're back tomorrow night as well, which is even better. But yeah, really looking forward to this tonight. We had some really good action last week when it was myself and Jack in the box. That sounds even worse, actually, Jack in the box. But there you go. VSR on top of the standings. We will get a quick rundown in a minute, and this should be very good fun today as well. We're obviously expecting to see some great action. And Singapore, obviously, is one of those extremely tough circuits as well. So this is going to be an absolute cracker.
Yes, absolutely. And joining us in the commentary box as well, he's keeping an eye on all the points. He's normally in there in the chat. This time, we've welcomed him to the commentary box. It's Mr. Alan Kearns. Alan, how are you tonight?
I am good, guys. Looking forward to this. As usual, it should be a good event.
And
Um, at the moment, as it stands after the first two rounds, I'll just give a quick rundown of the points for any of our early viewers there. VSR are in the lead on 116 points. We've got TMC in second on 88 points. TTG third on 81. Livid fourth on 80. And Tough bringing up the rear on 71. So all still to play for and wide open there.
well, absolutely. But VSR in firm control. And if you missed out on League 2, finishing just about 10 minutes before, then the TTG Academy did win by just a slender of margins by 2 points ahead of CPR. But thank you for joining us, Alan. He's, of course, going to be in the chat, hopefully answering all the questions and giving us points updates. And, of course, he'll give us a poke with a stick if he wants to talk in the commentary box. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Alan, just give us a rundown of maybe what happened last week. Who do you think is going to have the upper hand?
Just a quick mention there for any drivers watching on yourselves. We had to set up a new lobby. I'll just send invites there to you, so if you want to join that, because someone couldn't get in. And then to answer your question, Kieran, VSR last week where they only fought back to get their lead back in the second race because they'd I think there was one or two drivers crash out of the first race. As we've seen in League Two a few minutes ago, teams need to have all four cars finishing, and that's what's going to give them their advantage over their rivals. So VSR need to keep it clean, need to keep a couple of drivers that you would have expected, maybe Marquez crashed out last week and had a bad second race. It was sort of mid-pack where you could expect him to be higher. So there is a few drivers out there who could perform better, and team owners need to be saying, "Look, get all four cars home and finish."
Yeah, absolutely. Just to confirm, Alan, it is a new lobby, isn't it, for all the drivers
Yeah,
watching? Okay, so new
yeah.
lobby. Everyone accept the new invite. Okay, right. Screen will go blue, which means no one else will be heard apart from me. So joyous. But thank you for joining us tonight. Obviously, Singapore.
Blue, dabba dee dabba
Well,
da.
now,
See, they can't hear me, so it's great.
well, absolutely. But unfortunately for you, Andy, I accepted the invite, and everyone just heard that lovely rendition of Eiffel 65.
Going back to the 90s, I couldn't help it. So yeah, fun and games.
Fun and games, absolutely. Hopefully,
Started already.
started already. Absolutely. Well, hopefully you'll be able to enjoy tonight. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this as much as you guys are. So we've got, just to confirm, some driver lineups, which of course always change at the last minute. For VSR, they've locked out Mercedes and Ferrari. They've got Blizzard and Odems in the Mercedes, Lambo and Casper in the Ferrari. TUF are going up with a 3-driver lineup. It's a bit interesting, but there we go. In the Red Bulls, they've got Max Till and Alex, and then in the McLaren, the lone driver of Fnatic. We've also got in the Force India and the Sauber, we've got Venom and Wiberg. Let me know in the chat how you pronounce that one. We've also got
I'm going
Louis
Weberg.
Wiberg. Let us know in the chats how you pronounce that. We've also got Louis and Darkbolt in the Alfa Romeo Sauber. In the Renault and the Haas, we've got Poe, Jack in the Renault, and then Honey and Ollie in the Haas. And then in the Toro Rosso, we've got Speedster and Sparks. And in the Williams, we've got Hubo and Plexit. So a bit of a strong lineup here. Of course, it's all on the line because the winner gets all the championship glory, but the team that finish last get relegated to League Two. So you've really got to avoid those relegation spots, and we could see a little bit of a dogfight, both ends of the table.
Definitely so. There's always that possibility, and that's what makes this two-league system very good. It obviously gives the teams the chance to do something a bit more long-term rather than just a one-off, because you can commit to it over a good 2, 3, 4, 5 times. It happens with the league system. And TTG will obviously be very happy. Their academy team will be looking to get promoted up now to League One for next time out, and they'll be hoping to make sure the top team stay there as well, so they can have double effort at trying to win next time. Remember though, VSR are still undefeated in the TTG mini leagues so far, so they've got, they're the ones with a 100% record. They're the ones with the pressure on them, but they've got some great drivers. Casper had some really good drives last week. He was on the podium in both races. He only lost out. He won in Canada, if I remember correctly, and then he still managed to get second place, if I remember rightly, at Silverstone. So he's definitely one to watch out for, the young Dutchman. He's a very quick driver, as I said last week, I know very well. But the TTG boys will be looking to do that. That the pack is still very close. Obviously, Alan gave the points there, and second to fifth is only covered by, I think, about 11 or 12 points. So you really need everybody finishing here for sure. And obviously, Albert Park, well, we've seen a few crashes here in other league races in previous times gone by, and Marina Bay's always possibilities of that as well. So it's not an easy one here tonight, and there's always the possibility of accidents. And hopefully we see some good clean driving, no issues, and I don't need to go ranting off at anybody for doing anything stupid.
Yeah, that always seems to happen when you and me are in the box for a mini league series. There's always one thing that tips you over the edge, Andy.
Just got to keep me on the right side of things. Just don't do anything stupid.
Well, yeah, as long as you keep Andy happy tonight, everybody driving, then you're going to be fine. But look at that. We've got, I believe, only 3 more drivers now to wait on. So hopefully not too long now before we can get underway at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Is it the Marina Bay Street Circuit first, or is it Australia first? I suppose.
No, it's Australia.
Is it Australia first? Okay, so
yeah.
My whole introduction was wrong. Typical, really. So Australia first, and then we head towards the Singapore Grand Prix. So let's talk more about Albert Park then. Of course, it's seen its fair shares of accidents, as you said, Andy, in league racing, but also in the actual F1 races as well. The likes of Martin Brundle, the likes of Fernando Alonso, Michael Schumacher have all had big offs at this Turn 3 section. Turn 3 seems to be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, turn 3 definitely. It's going to be one of the major overtaking opportunities as well. You've got DRS down the front straight. Not really an overtaking chance too much unless you get a great run out the final corner. You really want to use 1 and 2. You get a good exit when the DRS is available and you can attack down to turn 3. But it has been the scene of many accidents. You mentioned obviously Martin Brundle in 1996 going over the top of David Coulthard's McLaren. Alonso over the back of Esteban Gutierrez in 2016. Jacques Villeneuve, which was an unfortunate one in 2001 because a marshal unfortunately got caught in that one, unfortunately. And Schumacher was a bit further around. I think it was at turn 6 he went off. He went barrel rolling, but there's always that possibility of accidents. And hopefully we don't see any. Hopefully we see some really, really good racing. The great part to watch out though will be through 11 and 12, because the amount of cars that I know I've seen, and I know you have as well, Kieran, they've got caught out coming out of that second part of that fast chicane at turn 12 and ended up in a wall on the other side of the track has been ridiculous. So that's going to be one the drivers really need to watch out for. And it turns out that your introduction was right, because it is Singapore first. So let's go back to the other part.
There you go. You see, have some faith in me, Andy, and all shall be good. Actually, don't do that.
There's a worrying thought.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. But yeah, hopefully we're almost ready to go here. Apparently we've got 18 drivers ready, so I wonder who is not here. And which team will be down to 3. Having a quick look through, I can see No, I'm not even going to try and guess. Not a good idea to try and guess at all.
Ooh, well, you know, I'm quite happy to make mistakes and try and guess, so give me a minute. Right, so
Well,
VSR are in, their four's in, so we're good there. TTG, 1, 2... We've got all the TTG drivers, so they are in. TUF, they've got 3, so 1, 2, so they're in, 3 of them are in. TMC, they've got all sorts of different names as well, 1, 2, 3. I think they're in, so I think it might be Livid, I'm not too sure, thinking of it, but... Oh wait, we're 19 now, so yeah, I think we might actually be there nearly, hopefully. But surely it won't be too much longer before we get going and we can see some great action around here. 22 players are in the lobby now. So is everybody... Because obviously TUF are... There goes Alan, he's... No, Alan's still there, so someone's just dropped away there. Not sure what's going on. But it looks like we are readying up, so getting ready to go live. Here we go. Who's going to win it tonight? If you are watching along in the chat, do drop your opinions and thoughts. Who are you supporting this evening for the victory tonight? Whether it be an individual driver or whether you're here supporting your own or favourite esports team. Drop your support in the chat. We'll try and keep up with it as much as we can as the night goes along.
Absolutely, and Singapore here, one-shot qualifying into a 25% race, so it's normally a one-stop with these 25% races. Obviously safety car is on, full damage as well, not simulation, just full damage, but full damage can still pack a punch. I found that out last night. If anybody was watching, hopefully nobody was watching me, because that was a terrible, terrible result for me.
I've still to watch it back yet, so yeah, you know, you've just made it more appealing to me now.
Yeah, no, nothing happened. Everything was good. Well then, Andy, it's not long now until your world famous, well normally you do it on a Thursday night, but your world famous fast lap. Obviously with these mini leagues, it just puts us with a random person, so whoever it lands on, that's who we're doing the lap with.
Yeah, that should be quite fun to see. I think it's going to pop us onto Dark Bolt, hopefully, because that's how I've got it selected up here. So if you've got the chance to change it, do, because that's what it's gave me the option.
So
love it. So we might be in good job when we go out on the road.
Well, let's hope so.
But,
and well, yeah, Andy. Moments away now from the flying lap. Obviously, setups are being applied and race strategies are being decided. Is there a chance of rain? Probably not. But you never know at Singapore with the night sky and the floodlights beaming down. Such a spectacle here at this track. 23 corners await these drivers at one of the most physical tracks on the calendar. And Andy, take it away.
Here we go, 3.146 miles ahead of us on board with Dark Bull in the Salva, heading up towards turn number 1. DRS is open, looking for the braking point around about 70-80 metres into turn 1, and he's got a huge tank slapper there into turn number 2, collects it all together, but that's going to drop him down the leaderboard quickly. Marquez is already out through the kinky free and up towards turn number 5 now. I missed out turn 4 because that was the kink. Hits the wall there, does Dark Bolt, but he's still in 4th at the moment, so it's been a scruffy lap so far as he comes through the curve of turn 6. DRS is open on here, and then down into turn number 7 we go, up through the gears real quickly, and then into this tricky section, turn 8 is the first part, down to second gear, then a quick acceleration up to turn 9. It opens up, but you've got to be careful of that wall on the outside, and again, on my screen at least, it's hitting the wall into where the old Singapore sling was at turn 10. Keep it to the left hand side, chuck it back to the right over turn 11, through the curve of 12, over the Anderson Bridge. Pick your braking point, tricky braking point as you're turning right, braking, downshifting, and then chucking it to the left and down the Esplanade Drive, heading towards turn number 14. No DRS down at this point, looking for the braking zone around about 80 metres again, down to third gear. Use not very much the curbing on the exit there, you see a lot of drivers using much more, and then through 15 into 16 and through this sort of arena section. On the right hand side is the bay where they actually have a football matches out there on a floating pitch. Under the grandstands the 18, through turns 19 into the final sector now. We've got a retirement out on track from Plexit, through turns 20 and 21. Brush the wall on the way through if you want to get maximum effort. Into the final 2 corners, chuck it in, small breather, 23 across the line. Blizzard takes pole position, Dark Colt into 5th position, and considering that, certainly on their screen anyway, mine, that was a bit of a scruffy lap, so I'm sure they'll be happy with P5 with that, but that is a lap in Marina Bay Circuit.
And done so professionally there that there was a mention of football. No mention of football tonight. No football is going on at all.
I wasn't mentioning anything to do with something that's going on in a different country. Just to the fact that they do have a floating pitch there for games. But there you go. But yeah, Blizzard on pole. It's Lewis in second at 8 tenths down. Ollie in third for TTG. Then it's Max Till for TUF in fourth. Darkbolt in fifth, who we're on board with. Sparks in sixth. Lambo seventh. Honey Badger in eighth. Jack ninth. Venom in 10th. Obviously all Hypersofts. Then it's Hugo, Alex, Poe, Fnatic, Weiberg, Casper, Plexit, Marquez. They three all got disqualified during the session.
Yeah, for assuming they corner cutted. So, well, that'll put them at the back. But remember, every position scores a point. That's the rule for these mini leagues. So even if you think you're having a bad race, get to the finish line because you will score points for your team. And what do points mean? Points. They mean
prizes.
they just mean points. That's all. But they'll be valuable points as you head towards the next round. Of course, 116 points for VSR. TMC in second with 88. It's a bit of a gap. But with this point system, with everybody being able to score points, once you've got a lead, if you stay really consistent and in the top half, you've got a good chance of getting good results.
Definitely so, and you know, I always say it in these events, anyone who does retire when out on track when it's not due to like a wheel falling off, I think is just chucking it away and they're not putting in the effort for their team, because even if you finish dead last, it's points for the team, and obviously the League 2 there that we just have was the slimmest of margins between first and second, so that's definitely not something you want to be seeing at all during the effort. So, you know, we'll wait and see what happens, but yeah, definitely want to be finishing around here. What tyres is everybody going on to? Let's have a look at that. No surprises to see that it's a complete sea of pink and purple. There's quite a few drivers getting themselves disqualified for being cheeky on the formation lap, but everyone in the top 10 on the Hypersofts and everyone outside is on the Ultras, except, is that Poe on a set of Hypersofts? It is indeed. So that's an interesting one from Poe, down 13th, so we'll need to keep an eye on his progress, because he's obviously going to be stopping about the same time as those up front, but Blizzard in the best position for him and for VSR right out front. That's exactly what they need to do, but around here you just never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. Apparently Sway says the second comms is pretty quiet. Who's the second comms, Andy?
I don't know, because we're both joints, you know, it's an equal thing here. I did actually then turn the volume up, because I thought it might have been me. I turned it up to listen to me while I was talking, and it seemed okay, so hopefully it was just maybe a one-off, I'm not too sure.
It's probably me, who knows. It normally is.
I'll tell you in a minute.
If there's a problem, it's normally me. Anyway, there is Blizzard then making his way up towards turn 13, and turn 14, I should say. As a good overtaking opportunity, no DRS up towards 14, but a good opportunity to try and get the move done. Be careful on that left-hand side on the exit. It does seem to penalise you for track extending as we head now in towards 16 and 17, in towards this 90-degree section now, as we now make our way towards turn number 18 under the grandstand, underneath fans. It's quite a sight to see as we head under the bridge. Of course, Ricardo in the Toro Rosso getting it wrong there, going straight on. Once that place gets blocked, it's a nightmare to get it unblocked, and we've seen many instances there over the years. As we now head towards the start-finish line once again, Blizzard seems to just be holding up the pack here as the AIs take over. That's why they're all ghosting through each other. So, League 1 of the Esports Mini League, hosted by TTG. VSR seem to be in control, but there's still a long way to go. These two races still to come as we make our way on towards the grids. Who are you flying the flag for tonight? Who is your favourite driver? And who do you think will win the race here in Singapore? Can only mean one thing. The 5 red lights go on in mini league tradition. They go off and then we have to wait until we actually get going. But you can see the revs going up. Round 3 is underway, and what are the starts like? Looks like it's a good start from Blizzard then as we make our way down towards turn 1 for the very first time. He's able to turn in with no fear whatsoever. We've got a great start ahead of Louis then as we make our way through turn 3. Keep an eye on those cars as they make their way through these first couple of corners, especially in the lower half of the field. As you can see there, the Mercedes of Blizzard leading the way.
Red Bull off. Red Bull Fanatics off. He got pitched into a spin before turn 5. Not sure who it was, but they were nearly 4 wide into turn 5 there. He's now at the back of the field.
Lambo up the inside as the Haas goes off there, hits the wall. That's Honey Badger in the wall then at turn number 7. But Lambo going up the inside. He won't mind that position for sure, as Honey Badger then starts to fall down the field. No doubt he's got front wing damage on that right hand side. That is not what he needs in a 25% race, a high intensity race such as this. The old Singapore sling as we make our way now towards the Anderson Bridge and towards that tight hairpin of turn 13. Look at the two Renaults there of Jack and Poe running side really behind Sparks there, as Jack wanted to try and make a move up the inside in towards the hairpin there, but couldn't quite make it stick. Meanwhile then, Casper and Marquez here have had to have a royal battle, as Casper now wants to head up towards turn 14, and that looks like team orders there. Marquez is just getting out of the way. Meanwhile then, Venom is right behind Hugo, and Alex here for TUF in the Red Bull, now making his way underneath the grandstand once again, and to see if he can try and make a move stick. The problem with this Singapore circuit is there's not many chances to overtake. You've got to put pressure on the car ahead and hope that they make a mistake. It's Blizzard then for VSR leading the way, Louis in second, Ollie in third, and that's a Sauber well off in the background. That was Darkbolt, and he was really beneficial with those track limits there. Lambo simply goes up the inside of Darkbolt and takes away 5th place.
Yeah, plenty going on in that first lap. I don't know who it was that caught Fnatic, but he ended up pitched down into turn 5. Obviously, Honey Badger's in as well with damage. Sparks is in too, so he must have picked up damage. He was further up the field too, so he's stopped as well. Deneen's in as well for Livid, so 4 cars already into pit lane. That gets their pit stop out of the way though, so soft tyres for all of them. Yep, and Deneen's just changed over as well, so they're already done the mandatory stop, so we'll see how that brings them back in later on. Poe though is the one that's made the biggest gains along with Plexit. The pair of them are up 5 places from the start positions. Poe up in 8th, following his teammate Jack to head towards the old Singapore sling, and if I go back down, you've got Plexit in 12th, and the Williams, he's up 5 places as well. He's currently trying to keep up with Alex up ahead, and he's trying to see if he makes a move. No, he thinks better off it as he come across the Anderson Bridge. So plenty of action still going on through the field, but a few cars already damaged early doors. But pit stop out of the way, they could still make it up if they can keep it clean and get some good fast laps in clean air.
Absolutely, Hugo here right in the back of both the Renaults of Jack and Poe up ahead, looking to just try and lull them into a sense of false security and maybe into a mistake as they head now underneath the grandstand. Meanwhile, Louis here is looking to try and put pressure on Blizzard. There's Ollie then getting it sideways out of turn 21 and then through the final 2 corners, as Louis now sets the fast lap, and then Ollie instantly betters that one. 137.9 there from Ollie. He's a second behind Louis. DRS is enabled, and so here Louis might be able to try and move down the inside of Blizzard, maybe around the outside. Of course, as we head now towards turn number 5 this is. And then we've got the slight kink, the slight right-hander of turn 6. This could be a move for the lead. Will Louis go for it then? He's in the slipstream and now heading towards turn 7 now. Round the outside he'll have to go. We've seen Hamilton and Webber come together here, but look at this. Blizzard just about giving enough room for Louis, and then he goes up the inside at turn 8. Really good stuff from those two, and Louis then takes the lead here in Singapore. Meanwhile, further behind, Casper is battling away with Marquezes then, and that is Wiberg behind them both, but looks like they're just trying to work together as a team at the moment and try and get their way through the field. Casper leading Marquezes then, and Wiberg there couldn't quite defend. He now falls down to 15th place, but remember, all these positions, every single one of them is a point scoring position. You have to make it to the checkered flag to score those points though.
Definitely so, and plenty going on there. I do think Casper and Marquez will be trying their best to use each other to get through the field. DRS now enabled. Ollie's just picked himself up the first penalty of the race as well, in third, as he tries to make sure he sticks within DRS range of the 2 leaders. So he's going to have 3 seconds added to his time at the end of the race. That's not going to help him out in any way, shape or form. All the way down the field though, Honey Badger and Fnatic are having a bit of a duel at the back of the field, having made their pit stops. That's Honey Badger getting ahead off the Red Bull, as Fnatic was ahead of Honey Badger earlier. Meanwhile, Maxtel is into pit lane for TUF, so that's the first of the pit stops starting to make their way in now already, as the Hypersofts just pretty much like the pink and the colours. It's like chewing gum. They go off very, very quickly indeed, and it's not going to be too much longer before the others in the top 10, and Poe indeed as well, since he started on them, will be into pit lane. But Louis' move on Blizzard is just, that was a phenomenal move round the outside, and he's already got himself out of DRS range. He is driving beautifully at the moment. Blizzard's got Poe all over the back of him. These two very familiar with each other from TTL F1 as well. Alex and Venom are having a fight there coming out of turn 7. You can see Plexit trying to get involved as well, nearly going 3x3 into the corner, and they managed to fix himself out. Alex getting ahead of Venom at the moment. Plexit's going to try and get a run off here into the old Singapore sling. Can he make any move? It's not really an overtaking place into there, and it pushes Venom wide. He's going to try and now go around the outside coming up to Anderson Bridge, and the Force India loses 2 places there in the space of a couple of corners and drops down to 9th position. Casper though and Marquez with pit stops now are already up inside the top 10 nearly. Casper in 10th, Marquez in 11th is Hugo and Poe having a fight, and Hugo up the inside there. No DRS for that one for Hugo, and he's going to hold on to 5th position as he tries to keep by, and he does, and that's 5th position there for Hugo. Nice little move, just caught the end of that there on my screen, so hopefully you've seen it as well.
Yeah, absolutely, we were on board with that battle all the way through. Casper, meanwhile, is now trying to get past Venom in front of him. Both those VSR cars 10th and 11th at the moment. Meanwhile, Blizzard comes into the pits, so that means Ollie then up to P2. So Blizzard now coming into the pits and maybe trying a little bit of an undercut. That's going to shake up the field, then you can see all twisting and turning. Meanwhile then, Jack, who's come out on a fresh set of ultra soft tyres, he'll be wanting to make them last to the end of the race, but he's got Darkbolt ahead of him now. So he'll have to try and get past him out on track. Plexits, meanwhile, is closing into Alex for TUF in the Red Bull. And keep it all together there. Taps the wall on the left-hand side. Not great if you want to try and keep your momentum running now. Through turn 6 we go. And then heading towards turn 7. Alex trying to hold the inside line. Plexit has to go around the outside. Goes off track then as we head now towards the braking zone of turn 8. Has the inside line and gets the position there. And I don't think Alex can have too many complaints about that, because Plexit simply had nowhere else to go other than off the track. The Williams then up to 4th place, and Alex has it all to do now because he's got Casper and Marquez behind him.
Definitely, so plenty of good battling going through. I've just noticed something as well though. Blizzard obviously coming into the pits there from P2. He's came out behind Max Till, who came into the pits a lap earlier, so the undercut is very strong round here, it would seem, especially if you can get yourself into clean air, because Blizzard has lost a position to a driver that was behind him before the pit stop started, so that's worked really well for Max Till. He is now the highest running driver that has made a pit stop, about 26 seconds off the lead. You're looking at about from pit in to pit out somewhere around 26 to 28 seconds if you get a clean stop, so that could work really, really well for him. And considering that the TUF only have 3 drivers here tonight in total, they need all the points they can get. Louis and Ollie are now into pit lane at the front of the field, so that's going to put Hugo into the lead of the race. He started on the Ultrasoft, so it's Hugo from Plexit, Alex, Casper and Marquez, the top 5 now, as the last of the Hypersoft runners get off of those tyres and get onto the better race tyre, basically, which is the Ultrasofts around here, especially with a shortened race. Poe, a second penalty, and you think he's the only driver that's got penalties. That's 6 seconds worth he's picked up now. That's not going to help his team in any way, shape or form.
Casper here has got a good run on Alex. Alex once again defends the inside line, but this might be deja vu from the lap before. Casper now around the outside, onto the curb he goes, but this time he's got the move done before the braking zone at turn 8, and Casper then moves up a position then. Alex falling down to 4th place. Now he's got Marquez behind him as well on those ultra soft tyres. Of course, both Casper and Marquez started on those ultra soft tyres, the same as Alex then. But it seems like Casper and Marquez is fighting their way through the field, just seem to have a little bit more pace then. Louis, meanwhile, for TMC, he is now rejoined in 9th place. He's behind Blizzard then. And again, as you were saying, Andy, that undercut seems to work, because now Louis has to try and pass Blizzard on track all over again.
Definitely so, and it's, you know, both of them behind Max Till, so again, getting in early as he did has worked great for Max Till. I'm currently watching TTL season 13, I think it is. It's Poe and Lambo for 13th and 14th, the 2 championship protagonists from that, having a right old ding-dong battle down the back of the field. Poe's came out on top at the moment, and Ollie again with a 3-second penalty, Marquez as well, so the penalties are starting to rack up now. But yeah, they two are having a bit of a scrap down the field, but there's plenty of battles going on. And Marquez is just trying to see if he can keep up with Alex at the moment, But it's working nicely for Maxtel because he's out of DRS range as well on Blizzard at the moment. Set the fastest lap of the race last time by. It's now been beaten possibly shortly in a minute, but Darkbolt's the latest one to get a penalty, and that's definitely not going to help him. But yeah, the undercut's definitely being more powerful, and getting in earlier is working. So these guys on the Ultrasofts, they could end up being sitting ducks towards the end of the race, because at 26 seconds for a pit stop, it's going to drop you all the way down to around about the outskirts of the top 10 roughly if it was right now. Obviously once the few of them pit, it will just shuffle itself a little bit, but yeah, they need to be careful because it could end up really well down the field before long. I doubt we'll see much longer before they're in the pits, because we're already halfway through this first 25% race. Hugo leads Plexit by 2.2 seconds. Casper is in third place, 4 seconds off the lead and 1.8 off of Plexit. And he's got Alex in fourth, Marquez in fifth, and you've got Weiberg, Maxtel, Blizzard, Louis and Darkbolt rounding out the top 10. And remember, Maxtel is the highest runner that's made a pit stop. The top 6 yet to stop.
Almost halfway through this race then, and as Andy was saying, Hugo leads the way at the moment. And well, of course he's yet to stop, but for the Livid e-racing car, he is currently leading this race. Well, he's surely got to stop onto a set of Hypersofts, but what about the likes of Casper and Marquezes, who are yet to stop as well? Of course, the top 6 yet to make their pit stop. What tyres will they emerge on? Will it be Hypersofts? Could anybody surprise us and go onto a set of Supersofts? Who knows? Maybe they think the Hypersofts don't have the pace in them. Meanwhile, riding on board with Venom then, who is currently racing for TMC in the Force India, right behind Lambo, who's had to make that early stop with the damage, and he has to make it to the end on a set of soft tyres. Meanwhile, Venom here for TMC is on a set of ultra soft tyres. He can now try and push and make his way to the end of the race here. He's going to have the tyre advantage for sure. He has the DRS now down towards turns 1, 2 and 3. Lambo's going to try and do his best to make his Ferrari the widest Singapore has ever seen. What about the exits out of turn 3 there as we shoot through the slight kink of 4 in towards 5. Oh, Venom's run into the back of Lambo there. Is there any damage to that Force India? We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, off screen, Maxtel has found a way past Wiberg. Here comes Venom then. Round the outside, he'll have to go in towards turn 7. The Ferrari leaves that door open very, very slightly as they head towards the braking zone of turn 8. The Force India then, the TMC car of Venom then, seems to have found a way past Lambo, but they're still side by side now as they head through turn 9 and on towards the old Singapore sling of turn 10. He's got the move done, and up a position, Venom goes.
Yeah, Venom going up a position, but his teammate Weber getting absolutely mugged. Maxtel got by him under DRS into turn 7, and then coming out of turn 9, heading towards the old Singapore sling. Blizzard got such the better run on the way down, got him through, and Luke followed him through turn 10, so 3 places lost in the space of 3 corners there. And I do think the Ultrasofts on that Force India are going off because he's dropped right behind, and he's already been passed by Darkbolt, and he's off as well, so there you go. It's physical proof, and he's spun as well, trying to get it back around. He's going to cause a traffic jam, facing the wrong way into the wall, and yeah, that's a bit of a messy turnaround there. Marquez is into pit lane as well. He's gone onto those Hypersofts, but yeah, Weber just got absolutely mugged, and obviously the tyres must be absolutely shot as he loses it going under the grandstand. He's heading for pit lane, but it was a nice move by Maxtel, and it was a nice move as well by Blizzard, and very opportunistic of Louis to keep up and follow him through as well.
Lap 9 here for race number 3 of the Mini League 1, and it's Hugo leads from Plexit and Casper. Alex in 4th, but the top 4 are yet to make their pit stops as Marquez there rejoins on a set of Hypersoft tyres down in 14th place, who's got it all to do out on track here. Meanwhile, Louis once again has to try and make this move against Blizzard out on track, heading towards the old Singapore sling. Thinks better of it and stays behind as we head our way now through turn 11, through turn 12 and over the Anderson Bridge towards the hairpin of turn 13. Louis here, it's a little bit narrow to try a Felipe Massa-esque move down the inside at turn 13. On the exit then as we head towards turn 14. Blizzard then ahead of Louis right now. This is VSR versus TMC at the moment, out on track for 6th and 7th place. Remember, all these points count towards your team. Every single finishing position today is a point scoring position. Hugo then on the Ultrasoft tyres stays out. Meanwhile, Plexit, well, he wanted to come in understeered off the pit lane, and that's given him a 3-second time penalty. Such is the awkward pit lane here. You really do have to slow the car down. And, well, Plexits there has been met with a 3-second time penalty for cutting the track. He obviously didn't mean to, but that's what's happened.
Definitely so. I was keeping an eye. Lambo made a nice wee move to get back past on Venom. Meanwhile, Louis going up the inside of Blizzard through turn 3 and turn 4, heading towards turn 5 now. Side by side they go. He has to pull back in at the moment, but he's going to have DRS to go down the back straight towards the turn at number 7, through the kink of 6 and through to turn 7. And he's got the DRS to help him. Blizzard's not got it. Up the inside goes Louis. Can he make the move on the inside this time? Having gone the long way round earlier, and he does so, and that puts him up into 5th place. That is a net P2 at the moment with Max Till up ahead. We're going to head quickly down to pit lane. Alan Kay is in pit lane. He's got the halfway points at the moment. Alan, what are the point situation as it is?
So as it stands, as we pass the end of lap 7 on the halfway points, VSR were still in first on 172 points. We had Livid in second on 134, TMC in third on 122, TTG in fourth with 112, and Tough bringing up the rear with 106. So all them points will still change, and I'll still play for the rest.
Thank you very much, Alan. Obviously, hopefully he'll put those in the pit lane in the YouTube chat, just for everyone to review at the just past the halfway point. Meanwhile, Marquez is here, having a battle with Lambo up towards turn 14 we go. He's around the outside, and that looked like a little bit of team orders there as Marquez makes the move, and Lambo now drops to 13th place. Marquez is up to 12.
Leaders in pit.
So leaders in then, Hugo and Casper, as well as Alex. What about Max Till? Well, it looks like he will now take the lead here in Singapore for that McLaren, for TUF. And they've only got 3 cars running at the moment. But I tell you what, Max Till's not doing a bad job whatsoever out here in that Sol Papaya McLaren for TUF. He's leading this race then. Louis is in second for TMC. He's running in 2nd place right now. Blizzard for VSR in 3rd place. It's Darkbolt in 4th place, also for TMC. They're having a good race so far. TTG then, the first one of them is Ollie. He's in 5th place. Now he's going to challenge for 4th place, down towards turn 7. Leaves it late to try and go up the inside. No room for him though, and he has to back out of the move. It's Jack in 6th for TTG. Plexit's there for in the Williams of that is Livid. He is now in 7th place. He's just made a move on Poe down towards turn 7. So he's now up to 7th place. Meanwhile, Marquez is here, now behind Hugo, also racing for Livid, as Marquez taps the wall on the right-hand side just before turn 9. That's not going to help his front aero whatsoever, and he'll be ruining that one and that mistake there, as Ollie now closes in on Darkbolt ahead of him.
Yeah, definitely. So plenty going on. Ollie trying to get that place back off of Darkbolt. I think he just lost it down into turn 7. Marquez came out ahead of Casper and Alex, but behind Hugo. So Hugo now on the Hypersoft tyres, already out of DRS range. Keep an eye on his progress. Marquez is on 2-lap old Hypers. Casper's on completely fresh ones, as is Alex. So need to keep an eye on their progress towards the end of this race in the last few laps. Although I need to give you something I just seen as I was watching those 3 coming out of the pit lane. The only way I can describe it is it looked like the safety card on a dab. It was absolutely ridiculous. Ollie now up the inside into turn number 1 on Darkbolt. DRS assisted, easy move done there, and he's up the inside. Darkbolt, I'm sure, will try and make a move back down towards turn 7 with DRS. Meanwhile, Hugo's just on the DRS pass as well on Poe into turn number 1. Those Hypersofts looking pretty strong at the moment. Alex has just gone by on Venom, coming back up to Darkbolt. Doesn't look like he's close enough at the moment coming up to the braking zone of turn 7. Lambo's picked up a penalty. There's quite a few out there, so we're going to need to wait to the end of the race to see what happens. There's a yellow flag somewhere in sector 2. It's disappeared already, so maybe just someone running wide. Casper gets by on his teammate Marquez. Again, probably team orders involved there. Casper on the fresher tyres by 2 laps and looking pretty quick at the moment. He'll be trying to make his way through the field. Yellow flags again in sector 2. Unsure what's causing it. It's Deneen who's out of the race, so where has he gone off? I'll try and follow through and see if I can find out what happened to the Toro Rosso Livid driver, but that is the first retirement in this race.
Yeah, it looks like somewhere before turn 9 there.
Singapore sling.
Yeah,
Singapore sling, he's in the wall.
So that is the first and only retirement so far, but it is a Livid Esports car. They will not score points then in that Toro Rosso. Meanwhile, Casper here, is he going to try and move up the inside? No, he can't. as Poe shuts the door out of turn 14 through 15 and then into the braking zone of turn 16. Only 4 laps to go, 3 and a bit if you're picky. Casper here looking now for an inside move. Is he? No, can't quite make it stick then as we head underneath the grandstand then. And we're heading out towards the final couple of corners as we head through turns 20 and 21. The Ferrari looks like he's got the pace on Poe, but can he find that way past through 22 and 23 then? Casper onto the DRS, and you can see that Poe running wide. Now Poe going very defensive down the inside then. Casper has to go the long way around at turn 1. He'll have the inside for turn 2, but then has to go the long way around once again at turn 3. Poe just about does enough then to put the Ferrari off, but there's Marquez. He's in 2 minds here. Does he get involved in this battle or not?
I think he needs to wait and pick up the scraps. I mean, Poe's not in a very good position. He's got 2 VSR drivers behind. Casper has flown by with DRS. Is Poe going to go late on the brakes? He's thinking about it. He defends off Marquez at the same time, so Casper is through. Marquez now going to try and go the long way round at turn number 8. He's not able to do so. A little bit of a slide there from Poe. He's having to go very defensive. And Marquez has ran into the back of him there. That's surely maybe going to be damage to them. Poe's having to go wide again. He's trying to use all of the track possible, swinging back at the last moment. He needs to come that down. That's a bit much of a swing for the defensive line. I mean, I know it's one move, but it's a bit much of a move in my opinion. Marquez looking all over. There's a bit of front wing. That's off the Mercedes, sorry, that flew wide. Marquez parges his way through, but I am sure he has lost. Yes, he has. Front right hand end fence on that front wing is missing now with that move, and I think he maybe just got a wee bit annoyed possibly at everything going on and just chucked it up the inside, and unfortunately he's caused himself damage. That's going to hamper him for the rest of the race. Look in the background, Alex is coming through on his hypersofts as well. Lambo's trying to stick with him but struggling, but Marquez now with damage, he'll carry on. There's no point pitting now with only 1 lap to go, but he is understeering like a shopping trolley at the moment, and through here especially you're really going to see it. He's struggling to get on the throttle early doors. He's going to go completely wide. He's closed Poe off and back across. Huge crash! Unbelievable huge crash. 3 cars involved. Marquez, Poe, Alex, all involved in that crash there, and goodness me, Poe's going to be able to carry on. Marquez and Alex are out. Cars strewn across the track, but oh dearie me, that's not a good one.
No, it's not a good one. We just caught onto that stream then, just as the crash was happening down towards turn 1. Andy, just talk us through that one.
So Marquez was struggling with understeer, having made that attempt up the inside at Anderson Bridge with his front wing damage. Poe got a great run, and Marquez basically repaid him the favour he had done the lap before, coming completely to the pit side wall. Poe tried to go down the inside. There was then no room, so Poe moved back to the racing line. Marquez came back across, and contact was made between the two of them, and Alex, who just seemed to be in the wrong place. I was on board with Poe through that entire thing, and it's just a case, I think... I'm in 2 minds about that, to be honest, because I do think with the way the defensive bit was going, it was completely one side of the track to the other from Poe in the last lap, and then obviously Marquez was basically repaying the favour, and for me that accident was inevitable at some point with the way that was happening, I'm sorry to say.
Well, we just saw Plexits there getting past Jack. A little bit of contact on the front wing of Jack onto the rear tyre of Plexits, but no real harm done then. So Max Still then for TUF has started the final lap of the race here of round 3, and for TUF he's not doing a bad job whatsoever. They've lost a car. They've only got 2 cars running at the moment, one in 1st, the other in 15th, so it's real mixed fortunes for TUF right now, but they could hold their head high and say that they've won this one at least. Louis then running in 2nd place. It's been a good race for him, but that early race pace he had seems to have disappeared at the moment. Blizzard having to hold off Ollie in the closing stages of this race. Darkwalt there in 5th with Hugo 6th, Plexits in 7th, Jack in 8th. Casper now up to 8th as we see Jack there battling away with Casper, heading now in towards turn 8. Jack's doing everything he can to try and keep the Ferrari behind him, but it's not enough as they head through turn 9. Jack can't keep that car behind. Max Still now heading out of turn 13 and on the run now towards turn 14 as Jack here will try and catch up to the Ferrari, but those tyres look gone to me. He's not going to be able to keep up. Ollie meanwhile trying to get a move on Blizzard then as we head towards turn 14. Ollie's trying to line up this move. A little bit of contact maybe with the rear wing of Blizzard as they head now through turns 15 and into the braking zone of turn 16. Max Still meanwhile now heading through turn 19 on the exit underneath the grandstand, heading through turns 20 and then through turn 21. As we head towards the final 2 corners then, Max Till is going to come across the line to take the checkered flag here in Singapore. He wins the 3rd round for TUF. Louis then heads across the line. What's it going to be like on penalties? Max Till did have a penalty, but Louis can't quite close the gap. Then Blizzard then crosses the line in 3rd. Dartbolt then goes up to 4th with Ollie's penalties. It's actually Hugo now up to 4th as it's chopping and changing every single time I say a position. At the moment then, Ollie in 6th. Casper then comes across the line in 7th. Plexit's in 8th with Jack in 9th. There's Lambo then coming across the line for VSR. Tough race for him. Good recovery drive though. He finishes in 10th place then. Or down to 11th place now as Sparks now gets into 10th place. That's Venom then heading around the final 2 corners. He's going to come across the line to claim 12th place at the checkered flag. The Honey Badger then, whoa, getting very sideways then out of turn 21 and then through turns 22 and 23. Honey Badger then comes across the line to take 13th place. Poe coming around the final corner. He's got damage then. He was caught up with that turn 1 incident. He understeers majorly then. Comes across the line in 14th place. Last chance for points then for TUF and the Force India car then as we head around the final corner for TMC. It looks like Fnatic is just going to hold off Wiberg there, and he does. But there you are then. TUF, one of their drivers has won the race. It's been real mixed fortunes for them, and we'll have to check in with Alan after the race. But Max Till wins in Singapore.
Yeah, good race. The undercut working really well there for Max Till, and then he had the pace to keep well out of the reach of anyone else. Got out of the DRS range, and the McLaren into victory lane. It's been a long time since we've seen a McLaren in victory lane as well, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that. TUF needing all the points they can get. With only 3 drivers here tonight as well, so they get maximum points out of that one, at least from one of their drivers. But down the field, plenty of penalties there. It was chopping and changing all the way through. Only 2 teams, TTG and TMC, managed to get all 4 cars to the finish. Every other team had at least 1 DNF, and I'm sure the big talking point is going to be that incident with Paul Marquez and Alex later on. But here it is. Max Till wins from Lewis in 2nd and Blizzard in 3rd. Hugo in 4th. Then you got Darkbolt in 5th place, Ollie in 6th, Casper 7th, Plex at 8th, Jack 9th, Sparks rounds out the top 10, Lewis, Blizzard, Hugo. There was someone else in there. Hold on a wee second. So they 3, Casper and Sparks, no penalties at all. You know I like to shout out the no penalties there, Kieran. Lambo in 11th, Venom in 12th, Honey Badger 13th, Poe in 14th, Fnatic 15th, and Weiberg in 16th. DNFs for Marquez and Alex in that incident, and Dineen, who crashed at the old Singapore Sling. So 5 drivers managed to avoid getting penalties in that race, so that's pretty decent.
And they all win the coveted Andy Campbell No Penalties Award.
It's very coveted and very prestigious. I need a sponsor.
Absolutely. Well, stay tuned then, because a new lobby means a new round. We do have round 4 coming up at the Australian Grand Prix, so I'm pretty sure what Alan's going to do is set up the lobby, let the invites roll through, and then he's going to tot up all the points. And then, of course, he'll give us a poke with a stick he's got in the corner over there and lets us know when he's all ready to go. But Andy, then, I mean, you saw that turn 1 incident firsthand. We just missed it on the stream, and that is my apologies. Just talk us through exactly what happened going into turn 1 there.
Yeah, so I don't know what you guys seen beforehand, but obviously I was watching the battle from about the lap previous, basically, and we seen Paul going completely to the left-hand side going into turn 1, then sweeping back towards the racing line. It was one move, if a bit, extreme from one side to the other, but it was a one-move move. And he done that a few times, and obviously Marquez, I think, got maybe a little bit frustrated at the moves there, as Paul was struggling on his tyres, I would say. Put it up the inside into the Anderson Bridge. That's what cost him his front wing, but he got through at that point. Then obviously you had the train with Marquez at the front with Paul, Alex, and I'm sure there was someone else kicking around as well, but I can't remember exactly who it was. And as we come through the final corner, Marquez just can't get on the power because obviously of the lack of downforce from the missing front wing. He then repays the favour by going over to the pit wall to the complete left-hand side. Paul then goes to the right-hand side to come back across, and Marquez starts coming back towards the racing line, completing that one move, but Paul was already just got his front wing just alongside, no more by the looks of it, and then contact was made. Alex, for me, was a bit of an innocent bystander, but the way those defensive moves were coming from one extreme to the other, it was a bit of an accident waiting to happen, I think.
Well, there you are. Then there's Andy's expert view. As I just go to accept this invite, the screen will go all blue. You won't be able to hit Andy until now. I was really hoping he was going to do his Eiffel 65 rendition again, but no, he didn't. That's a shame.
I was thinking about it. I thought, no.
No, don't expose yourself on the stream again. that's not good. By the way, make sure you follow every single league that's involved on Twitter. Make sure you use this time to promote your teams. I know we're going to promote ourselves, Andy. This is a little bit suspect, but
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, why not? Make sure you follow me on Twitter. It's at KSMCG F1. How about you, Andy?
Andy81287. You just like to go with the awkward ones. That's the only thing.
I do like to go with the awkward ones. That's absolutely true, and I don't regret it either. Make sure you follow TTG. They are at TTGaming Esports. Make sure you follow VSR. They are Visceral Racing, spelled VISCERAL and then Racing. Livid E-Racing. Make sure you follow them. They are Livid Motorsport. TMC. They are TMC F1 _official. That's their tag on Twitter. TUF. They are at TUF _F1. And we got that's it for League One. So there you are. Make sure you go follow all the leagues over on Twitter. Go follow them. Go on, go follow them. Go on, do it now.
Definitely so. You got to, exactly. There's time before we go to Albert Park. It's fine. We've got to go and take a plane across.
Plenty of time. Open that new tab. Open up Twitter. It's only 5 teams. Go on. You could do it.
But just waiting on Alan finishing up the tallying off the points. Just catching a few bits in the chat. Obviously, Fnatic happy his teammate Max still winning the race. Casper, you'll see it in the chat yourself. Quali bottle hit me hard. So I know last week he was really, really quick. He was in the first and second in both races, if I remember rightly. And I know Casper well from doing AOR, and he's a really, really quick young driver. And it was so surprising to see him bottle qualifying, to be honest. But you know what? It's a tricky circuit. Everybody's going to have mistakes at some point, pushing too hard, especially in one-shot qualifying. You know, you've not got the liberty of being able to push it and then go in and do another run afterwards. You've got to do it on the first go. So it's so hard to do. So, mistakes are going to happen. Be interested to see what the points are. That's one thing it'll be for sure.
Absolutely. Obviously, it wasn't the greatest race in the world for VSR. Obviously, TUF had one win the race, but they also had one car that didn't make the checkered flag, and the other car finished down, I believe, in 15th place. So a bit of a mixed bag for TUF. So this is really where consistency is going to be key. You know, you've got the teams like Livid. They had drivers all across the board, actually. So they might have got a good point scoring run. And obviously, I believe you said TTG with the... there were 2 teams that only had all
TTG and TMC got all 4 home.
So all 4 of those drivers made it home, which means all 4 drivers scored points. And of course, it's much better having 4 points, 4 drivers score points, than it is 3 drivers score points, or in TUF's case, 2 drivers.
Definitely so. And speaking of points, I believe Mr. Alan Kay is ready with them, and we now have the points after round 3 as they stand at the moment based on the race results. Alan, what you got?
Doing it. So after round 3, we've VSR Visceral Racing on 160 points. We've got TMC in second on 140. TTG in third on 122. 123 for TTG. Livid a further point back on 122. And Tough are bringing up the rear with 102, but still not out of this one, even with 3 drivers. So Tough can still climb the way back up that field.
So it's going to be tough for TUF. They've got to avoid that. Yeah, they've got to avoid that relegation battle. They're going to be battling even harder as they head towards Australian Grand Prix. But 20 points now that gap's come down to. So still in many respects not out of the woods yet. As you say, Andy, VSR are undefeated when it comes to the mini league. Is tonight the night they get toppled?
You never know. I mean, especially any race is always possible. We've seen it before where they went off, and I think it was one of the previous ones where they'd done one week they had an absolutely fantastic. I think they swept the podiums every race nearly, and then the following week they were not hard, struggling to get some drivers into the top 10. And it can swing in roundabouts, as they say, really, really hard. But there's always the possibility of what could happen. Who knows what might be going on? I'm in the process, actually. I'm trying to have a wee look through things, because obviously I'm looking through chats and Twitter and trying to see what people have put up, because some drivers will want to put up maybe what's happened, their thoughts. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on and seeing if I can find out anything that we didn't catch. So give me a wee second, we'll have a wee nosy and see if there's anything interesting, any juicy gossip to bring you before we start the next round.
Any juicy gossip? Lovely. Well, Alan, whilst you're here, once again, thank you so much for doing the points. We left me to do the points at one of the very first mini league rounds, and we were here for about 10 minutes afterwards. But yeah, some good racing out there. Who are you sort of tipping to win the mini league?
Yeah, so we remember you with your calculator all those months ago, Kieran. Um, I think for as far as tonight goes, it's Visceral have to keep all four cars on track, and it's theirs with the points they need to have. Just goes to show at the halfway point of that race, they were on 172 points, where Marquez's crash out costing them 12 points. So you can see that even though it was a lower position, it still costs a lot of points to the team. So they need to forget the four drivers finishing. I think if Visceral can get um, four drivers finishing, it's going to be hard for anyone to catch them unless TMC can come out and have a really good showing. Um, I think the battle you're going to see is TMC trying to hold on to that second place and not be caught by either TTG or a little bit behind them. It'll be the closer battle I think we're going to be looking at here.
And of course, we've got TUF who've only got 3 drivers. You know, relegation looms. Obviously, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. Do you see them beating the drop?
Uh, it's hard to, it's going to be hard for them with 3 drivers, but again, if they can get a good result um, and get all 3 drivers high up, then there's a possibility. With regards to relegation, obviously with the TTG um, academy team having taken victory earlier on in the league too, so I'm not too sure whether it will work in the same way as say it would with football, in that if 2 clubs hadn't had teams in different divisions, if one got promotion, they couldn't be promoted while the other team is already in the division above. So I would suspect maybe that the academy team will stay in League Two, and that again might be an option, whether Tough stay in League One or CPI, who finished second in League Two, go up and Tough drop down. So it'll be an interesting one to see how that one pans out on that front.
Well, thank you very much, Alan. Hopefully, you'll keep on top of the points. I hopefully you'll pop them in the chat as well, just so everybody's got
I
a
will,
reference.
yeah, I'll pop them in there now.
Perfect. And we shall hopefully speak to you again at the halfway point, when you'll give us a rough idea of how the championships is going. But thank you very much, Alan. We're going into the Australian Grand Prix. Andy, are you back yet?
Oh no, I'm still here. Yeah, so I've seen some wee bits in regards to it. Seen some point of views as well. Basically, still think the same even after seeing the point of views. It was. I don't think anyone was really to blame too much in that major incident. It was just one of those inevitable things, just the way that the defensive was going from one extreme to the other on the racetrack. So, I can't really say it was anyone's pinpointing it saying they're at fault. But it was something that I think was inevitable happen. The drivers just need to obviously calm down and just be careful about that. And that's the thing. I will obviously, say these things regardless. So I've got my affiliation with TTG, obviously, but regardless, I will say what I think, because that's just obviously what you guys want to hear. You want to hear me being honest about things, and that's what I'm going to try and do. Recon asking how we're doing. We are doing fantastic because we've got some great stuff to watch. Lewis is in there saying hello, and kinda for you, which is one of my drivers from the Project Cars League. Hello, my Slovenian friend. Thanks for joining us.
And thank you very much for all of your support. Keep those comments coming, and also tell your friends. Tell your friends that your team is racing. Get the full support. Let us know who you're supporting tonight as well, and which team you think is going to win. Could be very interesting. As Alan said, for VSR, it's all about getting those 4 cars to the finish. If they can do that, they've got a really good position.
Go change to Max Till. I'm going to jump on board with the Singapore winner. for this flying lap.
Okay, Max till it is. So any moment now, we'll head to the Albert Park track. And Andy, once again, take it away.
Here we go, 3.124 miles at Albert Park Street Circuit, DRS down towards turn number 1, looking for around about 75 metres down to 4th gear, chuck it in, use the apex and the run off wide, through turn 2, dark bolt already out, down to turn 3 and DRS again, hard on the brakes, down to 2nd gear briefly, up to 3rd quickly to eliminate wheel spin, across to the right hand side, chuck it back to the left for turn 4, use the curb on the exit, flat out through turn number 5, running wide on the exit, using all the curb you possibly can, into turn number 6, nice and easy, 4th gear, 100 miles an hour, through the kink of turn 7 and 8, completely flat out, no issues through there, up towards turn 9, which is called Clark, looking for the braking zone, down to 3rd gear, clip the apex curve, 75 miles an hour, brush it just up to the wall on the way out through turn number 10 and then down this curve towards the fast chicane of turn 11 and 12. Just watch this, down to 6th gear, throw it in 155 miles an hour, 168 on the exit, DRS for the 3rd time, down towards turn number 13, hard on the brakes one more time, 4th gear, quickly down to 3rd, back up to 4th there, eliminating the wheel spin, nicely done from Max Till, through turns 13, use the curb on the exit and then heavy braking down into turn 15 here, easy on the power, chucking it wide again on the left hand side to eliminate the wheel spin and open up the corner for turn 16 onto the start and finish straight, DRS wide open, Blizzard on pole again and Max Till takes P6.
If I'm not mistaken there, that was a VSR 1-2-3. So we'll have to look at that. But the qualifying results will be coming up any moment now. We saw Dark Bolt retiring from the qualifying session. Of course, his lap time wasn't validated, but there you are then. VSR 1-2-3 with Blizzard on pole position, Casper second, Marquez in third, Jack there for TTG in fourth, Sparks for Livid there in fifth place, Max Till the lead TUF car in sixth place, Venom in seventh, Hugo eighth, Plexit's ninth, Alex in 10th, Ollie 11th, Wiberg in 12th, Louis 13th, Fnatic 14th, Poe, Dinnan, Lambo and Darkbolt and Honey Badger all invalidated their lap times as we head towards Albert Park. First Grand Prix here in 1996, 5.303 kilometres and divide 307.574 by 4, and there's your total race distance. I can barely work with half, let alone divide by 4, but the lap record is 124.125 set by Michael Schumacher in that legendary F2004 car. What a racket!
Oh, that's just nostalgic music to my ears. 19,000 revs with a V10 in the back, scarlet red Ferrari all round, and Schumacher's famous helmet sitting in the cockpit. I'm back to good old times. I love it.
Good old time? What are you talking about, the good old times? Here we are. For
that's actually the 90s, if you want me to be completely honest.
We've got no time for
My
that,
opinion.
Andy. We've got no time for it. We're here then for the finale of the TTG Esports Mini League 1. Let us know who you think is going to win tonight, who your flag's flying for. Sway is saying Forza TMC, as he's hoping for TMC to make it to the end in a really, really good position. Makanda for you there said Andy in Element on that hot lap. There you are then. A compliment at the
He knows
highest
me well.
levels.
He knows me well. He's one of my drivers in the Project Cars too. Good guy. I've just thought of something. We usually have Commentator's Corner on TTL. What about Andy's story time and go over the old nostalgic stuff? That could be fun.
Andy's antics. There you are.
Ooh, there's a good one. I like that.
Get it trending on Twitter. No, don't do that actually.
Do it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Blizzard then makes his way now up towards turn 3. We've seen big accidents here over the past few years, but we've also seen some great racing here in Australia as we now make our way through turn number 5. That fantastic Dutch angle there, seeing Blizzard make his way through. Of course, top 10 have to start on the tyre they qualified on. The rest can start on any tyre they like. Ollie, Wiberg, Louis and Fnatic, they're all on super softs, with Poe and Deneen in 15th and 16th, both on ultra soft tyres. Lambo in 17th on super soft, Darkbolt in 18th on ultra softs, and then it's Honey Badger in 19th place on the super soft tyres. A VSR 1-2-3 with Lambo then starting down in 17th place. How do you see this one playing out for team orders?
Well, I mean, the ideal thing I think here for VSR would be if they can get two of their drivers to sprint away, the third one could maybe hold the pack up, and then that would pretty much near enough maybe guaranteeing them getting a 1-2, which should be enough for them. But, anything can happen. A bog down off the line could really, screw that about. Obviously, some drivers behind might feel quicker and just, didn't quite hook it up on the one-shot quali. So, it's a tricky one. And the bit you've got to worry about as well when you've got three cars so close together is two parts. Number one, they're all drivers that want to win in their own right. They're racers like me and you are. We're all racers when we do this, whether we do it in league racing or just offline or whatever. We all want to win. But the other problem is if one of them has an accident, the other two could easily get collected up on it if they're so close together. So they could end up eliminating all three of them in one shot if things go completely wrong. And what an absolutely cataclysmic crash that could be, and what an opportunity it could be for everyone else.
Well, turn one at Albert Park is always going to be awkward. It's a fast right-hander. Don't be fooled by the first set of lights. They are completely meaningless. We're almost ready then for round number 4. Watch those clutches get engaged as we head towards round number 4. Round 4 is underway, and what are the starts like? Looks like Casper's got a good start then. We're going to head now down towards turn 1. He's going to be side by side with Blizzard then. Will he try and hold it in there on the inside? Yes, he will. He'll have to go now round the outside, but the VSR cars stay intact then. 1, 2, and 3. But you've got Jack there, who is pushing his way now towards 4th place. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Marquezes and Casper. That's the last thing VSR want to do, is come together on this track. That's allowed Jack to sneak up the inside at turn 4. Marquezes goes off track then. Now has to rejoin. He's got to be careful with that wheel spin. Max Till leaves the session then. He'll now be a ghost car as we now head down towards turn 5. It's Poe and Wibberg. Debris all over the place. And that is out of turn number 5. That looked like, and yeah, that's them both out of the race then. We've also got Max Till in trouble. He's now left the session, so he's now a ghost car running around the track, so that's more points lost for TUF. That's the last thing they wanted. Blizzard then making his way through that fast left-right chicane through turns 11 and 12. We've got Hugo there trying to close in on Venom. Obviously, this is Livid Esports versus TMC then as we head our way down towards turn 13 for the first time.
Oh, Red Bull's off. There's a Red Bull off. It's Alex.
It's another TUF car off the track, and this is a disaster for them. TUF, they're in a world of trouble. As now Poe has left the session. Of course, he's already retired from the race. No points then for TMC or TTG from Poe or Wibberg. At the moment then, TUF still in point scoring positions with all 3 drivers. Lambo up to 10th place, by the way, but he's now had to come, Ollie that is in the pits as, no, it's Lambo coming into the pits then. So he had damage.
Yeah.
He made his way up to 10th place though.
Yeah, what happened was coming out of turn 3 and into turn 4, he ran into turn 3, he ran into the back of Alex into turn 3, both of them picking up pit lane speeding penalties as well. Damaged his front wing, so you're struggling with that all the way through. Just all the carnage ahead meant he picked his way through and got himself up to 10th, but he's had to pit early due to damage. Alex the same after spinning it out of turn 12. Both incidents, I didn't have the greatest of view, unfortunately. It was one of those poorer camera angles, so I just seen it flying through my screen, unfortunately, on both occasions. Max still back in the session, so he'll be back in control of his car before long, but that's a good thing for him at least. But yeah, didn't quite catch it, but 2 major incidents. Poe and Wibberg out of the race up at turn number 5, and Max still in the race but spinning round at turn 12. That could have been anybody, could have went into the back of him, because I was watching, and I still am watching, Ollie, Honey Badger and Deneen, and they guys were nearly 3 wide. There's a car off ahead. It's Honey Badger's round at turn 12. He's done the exact same thing I think Alex would have done, just lost it on the curbing on the exit of turn number 12. No damage though, he's missed the wall, and he will continue on down in 14th place.
Coming very close then. That's the Toro Rosso of Dinin onto the gravel. He now tries to go up the inside of Dartbolt at turn number 15. Now heading through 16, and both the Alfa Romeo Sauber cars of TMC make their way past Deneen in the Livid Esports car as we head now down towards turn 1. Meanwhile, Sparks for Livid is now closing in on Marquezes, who's racing, of course, for VSR Plex. It's now trying up the inside of Venom then as we head towards turn 3, heading now around the outside at turn 4, and Venom just about holds off. Meanwhile, Ollie gets away past Fnatic then. Crucial points there for TTG. He's got to keep going though as he gets the Haas past the TUF car then. Fnatic then dropping to 10th place. It's all go then as the 2 VSR cars of Blizzard and Casper just wanted to try and get away. Not a great start at all for Marquezes. He made contact with Casper on the very first lap at turn 3. That allowed Jack to just go through. compromised exit for Marquezes. He finds himself down to 4th place, and even better than that for Livid, he's now under pressure from Sparks then as we head our way now down towards turn 13. Will Sparks have a move up the inside? No, he won't. He thinks better of it. But the Williams there of Livid, they are 5th and 8th place right now. Not a bad race for them so far.
It's working out not too bad at the moment. Ollie, you mentioned going by on Fnatic. It was a nice little move from Ollie. He was on the outside going down towards turn 3 as Lewis has basically just barged his way past Fnatic, his teammates, into pit lane there, but he was on the outside going up towards turn 3. Noticed he couldn't get it done. Switched to the inside late on the brakes up the inside. It was a really nice move from Ollie, clean as you like, and he's away through and already out of DRS for zone as well, but he's now got Lewis up behind him as well now. Plexit and Darkbolt into pit lane. Biggest gainers at this early stage. Well, Deneen's up 5 places. Darkbolt and Honey Badger are up 5 as well, but they're in pit lane. Biggest loser is Maxtill down 8 places. Alex down 7. Maxtill quickly did jump into the chat, and Bill, basically, if this was a radio message, he's still not in control of his car, unfortunately. He's still ghosting. It was the equivalent of Romain Grosjean during Q2 at Monaco. It was the bleep meter was on big time, just continuously ongoing, because he's not too chuffed at disconnecting.
Darkbolt then phasing through Maxtill. That's another position, of course. Maxtill has to finish this race in control of the car. If he doesn't, any position he finishes in, he doesn't score points then, because he technically did not finish the race. Fnatic then under pressure from Deneen then as we head through turn 12. Fnatic then not getting the greatest exit out of turn 12, on the run towards turn 13. Deneen now having to go around the outside at turn 13. He's onto the curb though, and Toro Rosso versus Red Bull heading through turn 14. He's round the outside. Great move from Deneen. Knew it had to be done, and in towards turn 15. He's got the move done. Fantastic stuff from the Livid Esports driver. He's now up to 10th.
Yeah, nice little move on there. Plenty of pit stops going on as well now, though. We've got Jack, Hugo, Sparks, Marquez and Venom into pit lane. Venom picked up a 5-second stop and go as well for speeding and pit lane. Meanwhile, that's Ollie just up ahead, looking to the outside on Louis in the Sauber. Unable to make anything work there. Yellow flag in sector 1. It's disappeared now, so that's not going to be too much of an issue. But Ollie trying to make his way through the field, looking pretty quick at the moment, is the TTG driver. He's trying to make his way through. He's on the super softs, so he is running a bit longer. Need the middle of the 3 tyres, and he'll be trying to run these as long as he can to try and maybe put on a set of ultra softs at the end. You'd imagine that would be the ideal scenario, surely, for him, would be to get onto the softest compound. If you look up front though, Blizzard and Casper, they're within a couple of tenths of each other. They've got 10 seconds over the battle in Louis and Ollie, and if we look down, 24 seconds to make a pit stop. The first driver that's made a stop is Jack for TTG, and you're looking at around about 20, 22, 23 seconds, so it will be pretty close, as that is Blizzard into pit lane. So Casper's going to carry on and do another lap. I know Casper can make tyres last longer than you'd expect them to do. He's very good at doing that, so I'm not surprised at him going another lap. He's going to try and use the fresh track and the clear track to do what he can. Meanwhile, yellow flag somewhere. Hugo's round, he's facing the wrong direction and retired on track. That is a driver retirement, where he's gone into the menu because all 4 wheels are still on that car, and he's retired, and now that car is running on track with no control. Luckily the next car up behind was Maxtill, pulls off to the side, but you've heard me say it before, I don't agree with that, because every point counts, and all he's done is just cost his team points now. Silly.
Well, Livid will have 1 less point scorer, so we've had retirement from Livid, TTG, and let's see, Wiberg, who was running for TMC. Yes, TMC. Almost lost my train of thought there, but Andy recovered it, so it was all good. So retirements for them. So TOF and VSR still have all the cars that started this race, but TOF, of course, only have 3 cars, and at the moment they're running 4th, 14th, and 16th. Actually, no, that's not true, because Maxtill's running around as a ghost car at the moment.
Indeed, he is still ghosting now. He's left the session again. Sparks and Marquez, unbelievable! Wow! Whoa, I was on board with Sparks through that one there. I had to jump off to see if he got it done. Round the outside, Marquez is struggling. As Marquez, where's he's in control of the car, so what's going on? That's not like Marquez. He's usually a lot quicker than that. All four wheels, all the front wings on. So what a move by Sparks round the outside into the chicane. Marquez squeezed him right up against the wall, and he went, no, I'm having this. Went right round the outside, clean as you like, and he's off. What a move.
Plexits then will be relieved. He's got 8th place with all 4 wheels on his car. That could have easily ended the other way. Meanwhile, Venom there, here for TMC, looking now to put pressure on Marquez's up ahead as we head towards turn 3 now into the braking zone. Obviously, Marquez will want that position back, and he's lost a bit of composure over those last couple of corners. Just needs to rebuild that composure as he makes his way now through turn 5. As you can see, I don't know whether that's the connection or whether he's actually making contact with those walls there. Might be a bit of both, actually, as he now makes his way in towards turns number 9 and 10 into the braking zone now. Meanwhile, then, Sparks has got past Jack, who's actually off
Jack's
track
off.
then, and has left the session. He's disconnected.
That's why. Oh no, another one. And I've just seen the car sitting to the side there. It's now ghosting as well. But yeah, not sure what's happened. That's going to cost TTG as well. I'm just wondering if there's any damage on the car in any way. Doesn't look like it. So yeah, he's just dropped it on its own by the looks of it. So not good there for him. Ollie's into pit lane now for TTG. So Lewis is now away into the lead on his own. Fnatic will move up. In fact, no, Fnatic's into pit lane as well. So Casper has pitted, missed that one through everything else, so he's now in the lead of this race and has made his stop, and look who's right on his tail, basically pushing him through the corners. It's Blizzard, his teammates. It's back to being VSR 1-2, and this was a situation I spoke about at the start, where if they could get away, they could just end up taking an easy 1-2 here. It wasn't quite Marquez holding them up, but you know what, it's worked out the same way either way, and at the moment it's looking good for Casper and Blizzard and VSR. They're running away. Sparks will be a net P3 once Lewis comes into his pit stop there, so he's up to 4th place at the moment, 3rd on the total, and his teammate Plexit in behind as well, so it's working out quite nicely for it's TMC that are running the Williams, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sure. No, it's Livid, sorry. So it's working well for them. They've got 2 cars right up there as well, and then obviously Sparks for that brilliant move. I'm still jaw on the floor with that one.
Well, what the interesting thing is that Blizzard actually sort of let Casper through. It wasn't a battle as such. It was just sort of a, well, you can go through, I'll take my line, and you go wherever you want. It didn't seem like Blizzard was up for fighting it. They know that what's more important is getting those points home for the team. But as you say, Andy, there will be something in Blizzard that switches, and he'll say, well, actually, I want to win this race.
Oh yeah, we know Blizzard likes to win. I mean, we mentioned TTL F1 because we run that quite often on Thursday nights, which by the way, tune in tomorrow at 8 o'clock. He's the most decorated driver in that, 4 times champion, so we know he likes to win. We know how quick he can be. He's starting to show a bit more form and speed with the assists off as well. He's been doing pretty well in AOR F2 that I commentate on as well, so I'm getting used to some of these drivers, and he really is improving without the assists as well, and he's starting to show some really good form. So he's playing the team game here, though, I would imagine, with Casper. They'll use the DRS if they do a bit of repassing and passing, just so they're not holding each other up. Would probably be the best thing to do, but obviously the last thing they want to do is take each other out, and I'm sure they won't. But they need to watch for Sparks, though. 2.4 back, and I get the feeling that Williams, I can't believe I'm saying this, so Williams is actually catching a car in front.
Honey Badger then getting a move done on Alex then through turn 3. So that is TTG upper position, then TUF down 1. Marquez is then flying through turn 12. He's got to be careful on that curve, got to be careful on that grass. That could easily send you into the wall. But Plexix here has to be careful from the Mercedes behind him. Marquez is out for revenge here. He wants that position back. You can see his driving style. It's very aggressive at the moment. Yellow flags in sector 3.
Lambo's in the wall. Lambo in the wall. He's dropped it at turn 12. And he's got wing damage as well, I do believe. So that's what the yellow flags were. Lambo dropping down the field. And another spinner at turn 12 as it claims. I think that's its 3rd victim in the race already.
Marquez is here still applying that pressure to Plexits then. He has to go round the outside at turn 3. A little bit onto the grass then, a little bit of a lock up as well. But Plexits keeps that door shut then. And no way through from Marquez this time around with 6 laps to go. 5 second stop go for Lambo, who then retires altogether. So another non-point scoring finish. So none of the teams who started this race with all of their drivers will have them finish this race. And well, we have him with us. He's in the commentary box as well. Alan is with us with the points. Alan, take it away. Halfway stage, what's it looking like?
So guys, after the lap 7, at the end of lap 7, it was looking like VSR on 214, Livid on 170, or sorry, TMC second on 192, Livid third on 176, TTG fourth on 151, and Tough on 129. But as we can see what's going on screen there, that's all changing as minute by minute. So we'll check back at the end of the race and see what the actual points are.
Absolutely, thank you very much, Alan. Of course, those points updates will be in the chat. Of course, those updates will have been from about 2 or 3 laps ago. So Lambo spinning and retiring, that won't be in the points system whatsoever, of course. So there's all to play for. Meanwhile, Marquez is here, wants this position. He wants 4th place. Round the outside at turn 3 once again, but still he can't find the switchback. He's looking for that switchback against Plexit, but he can't find it. Plexit is just parking his car in the middle of the apex. He knows what to do to keep Marquez behind him, and right now it's working.
Yeah, very good defensive drive, and he's just keeping that car parked nicely just at the right point. Now Venom's going to try and have a run at Marquez up towards turn number 9. He's going to have to go the long way around Marquez, forces him wide, but he's ran wide through 10. It should be an easy run for Venom, but he gets a bit of a tank slapper on the way out. Casper's picked up a 3-second time penalty, so that's not too good for the young Dutchman. Coming up to turn 12 side by side, and Venom, I think, wisely decides to back out of it. Plexit gets a penalty for running wide out at turn 12, so that's going to drop him down the field. Venom now goes to go the long way round into turn 13. Marquez again used the inside line to defend, and now Venom's going to try and get the inside line for 14, and he's got the move done. So Marquez goes from attacking into turn 3, and by the end of the lap actually loses a place, and he's going to have to be careful because look, Darkbull and Lewis are right behind as well in the 2 Salbas, and Lewis is obviously on the Ultra Sauce. He's just came out of the pit lane on a fresh set of Ultra Sauce. Meanwhile, Marquez now down towards turn number 1 we go. He's going side by side into the corner, and he's around and through he goes, and Alex is out of the race now as well down in sector 3. That's what the yellow flag was. I'll try and see if I can see where he went off, but the nearest car to him is the ghost car of Jack, who's a good bit behind, so I'll update you if I see. Okay, I'll give you a guess where it was.
Turn 1.
Turn 12.
Well, just as you were saying that, just as you were saying that, both the TMC cars found a way past Venom there, pretty much in formation. Now it's their turn to have a go at Marquez, and look at that then, Louis gets that way past, and I wonder if there's a problem. There's an issue with Marquez at the moment. He is not on the pace whatsoever, and he's actually left the session. That'll be why. So another non-point score finish for VSR. They've only got the top 2 spots right now. Is that going to be enough as they head towards the end of this? It's only 4 laps left to go. 3 if you're picky. And here comes Venom now, who's looking to try and make a move on Dartbolt. You can see Louis there has just bolted away from this pack now. He's got Plexits up ahead of him. And for TMC, it could be a good opportunity to try and close that gap to the Livid Esports cars of the Williams in 3rd and 4th.
Definitely so, and that makes a bit of sense now with Marquez, because I was on board a few times with cars behind him, and it was coming up with the red bars for the connection, and even at times saying AI as well. So he'd obviously been getting a bit of disconnection, possibly it was just causing issues, maybe it was desyncing, maybe he thought he was off the track, maybe that's why he was going slow, and the disconnection would maybe prove that theory to be right. Obviously maybe he'll let us know later on, who knows, but you know, that means at the moment he's not scoring any points. In 9th just now, but he's not in control of the car, so unless he gets back in and in control before the finish line, he won't score anything either. It'll just be the top 2, but it should still be just enough, you would think, for VSR with the top 2, Blizzard and Casper. They've got 4 seconds over Sparks, so that should make it pretty easy as long as they can just bring it home. It should be enough for them, but obviously only 2 point scorers isn't exactly the greatest thing.
TMC here instantly on the attack. They know they've got to try and do this now. They've seen 2 VSR cars out, and look at this now. Louis is going to be on full attack then as we head now down towards turn 13. He's got Plexits in his sight of vision. as we head now in towards turn 14 and towards the final two corners of turns 15 and 16. Blizzard has started lap number 13, so we have 3 laps to go here at Albert Park. In fact, 2 laps now to go here at Albert Park. And Blizzard leads then from Casper, VSR 1-2, Livid Esports 3-4, TMC 5-6. As Casper makes a move for the lead, but he's got a 3-second time penalty, remember. Is it worth VSR battling right now when they've got Sparks behind? Only 4.1 the gap. It's not worth battling these two because otherwise they might find themselves further down the grid.
It's always a possibility of that happening, but again, as long as you can keep that around about a 3 to 4 second gap, it should be okay. We've only got a lap and a half to go now, so as long as they're not holding each other up while they pass and repass, it shouldn't make too much of a difference. They're clever enough to know what to do, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Ollie on his Ultra Sauce is trying to get past Darkbolt, tried to do his switchback he done earlier down into turn number 3, couldn't get it done this time though, as Venom picks up a 3-second time penalty. I've not bothered trying to keep up with penalties because it just goes so fast this race, you can't keep track of them. So we're just going to have to wait and see how things pan out at the end. Meanwhile, Louis is all over the back of Plexit again, but again, the Williams just far enough out of reach at the end of the DRS zone into turn 13 and then through 14. He's going to need to follow as close as possible through this bit here, up through 15 and 16. No need to make a lunge here, just keep it nice and tidy, keep it clean. He's got the fresher tyres by about, 6 laps, so he should easily be able to get the move done. And here we go down the front straight with DRS, but Plexit's got the energy recovery turned up. He's pulled a little bit of the inside there, and Louis is just going to back off and try and get him down into turn number 3, but he got a bit of a tank slapper on the exit. That won't help him at all, but here he goes, he's closing, but the braking zone is coming, and Plexit is just parking that car just where he needs to do, and no more is Ollie and Darkbolt having a fight. Ollie got round the outside there by the looks of it, but Darkbolt back up the inside, says, "You're not having that place, that's mine, get lost." Venom in the wall in the background, that might have damaged his car. Let's have a wee look at that front wing, see if there's any missing parts. Looks okay from here, but he just slapped the wall on the left hand side coming out of turn number 4 as the leaders go on to the final lap.
Yeah, they're rounding turns 11 and 12 right now as they head towards turn 13. Well, VSR obviously started the strong favourites as Fnatic TUF out of this race, and so all 3 TUF cars have failed to make it to the checkered flag, and that might doom them to relegation. So Casper then making his way around the final couple of corners now. VSR will at least get a 1-2. Is it going to be enough though? We'll wait and see. Casper wins in Australia, and Blizzard will promptly take that away with his 3-second time penalty. Livid Sparks, that is, crossing the line in 3rd place. Louis did get the move on Plexit's then. He crosses the line in 4th. Plexit's then in 5th. Darkbolt making his way towards the line, holding off from Ollie. It's not going to be enough though. He spins off, and of course he has penalties there, so he drops now to 7th. Venom in 8th, and then it's Deneen in 9th. Marquezes then, his ghost car's running around in 10th place, so his points won't count, but Honey Badger then will cross the line in 11th, so I don't know if he scores those points or he gets promoted up to 10th.
He'll get 10th, he should get 10th for that, I would imagine, because obviously Marquez isn't in control, it's still ghosting. You need to be in control of the car, so Honey Badger should be given 10th for that one because he's finished in control of the car. Jack has finished in 13th, but he never got back in control of his car either, and neither did Maxtel, so we've only got 10 finishers in this race. Honey Badger, the last one to cross the line, and he takes over 10th due to penalties anyway, so it doesn't matter. He took 10th no matter what.
So Blizzard then takes the win here in Australia for VSR. Is that going to be enough then? Because it was close battling. VSR with 2 retirements in this race. Livid Racing though, and TMC really put out a huge battle today. Is it going to be enough though? Will consistency go over this top 2 finish for VSR? But for now then, Blizzard can celebrate a win here in Australia, here at Albert Park. It was a great race. Only, well, less than half a field finished this race through connections and through retirements and through crashing out. But we will have your official, unofficial results of the Australian Grand Prix. Blizzard then wins the race. Casper in 2nd. It's a VSR 1-2. It's Sparks for Livid in 3rd. Louis for TMC in 4th. Plexit for Livid in 5th. It's like a tongue twister here. Ollie for TTG in 6th. Darkbolt for Oh goodness, I've lost it already.
Livid.
Bolt
Sure,
for
it's
Livid
Livid, isn't it?
in
Tough.
7th. Venom then for TMC in 8th. Deneen for Livid in 9th. Honey Badger for TTG in 10th. Those are your point scorers. Anyone from 11th and below will not score any points for their teams whatsoever. So it's the job for Alan then. Much easier then for 10 cars on the grid rather than 19 finishing. So hopefully within the next 5 or 10 minutes we will be able to find out what those results are. Don't forget, guys, make sure you do follow each of these leagues on Twitter. I have to go back and find all of the names again. Remember, TTG, you can follow them. It's at TTGaming Esports. You can follow VSR. It's at Visceral Racing, spelled VISCERAL. Livid E-Racing on Twitter, at Livid Motorsport. TMC on Twitter at TMC F1 _official, and TUF at TUF _F1. And whilst you're there, why not give me a follow? It's at KSM CG F1. You can also follow Andy there as well.
Yep, which is at Andy81287. And while we're just waiting on Alan, I've got to do my usual wee bit. Blizzard, Sparks, Louis, Ollie, and Honey Badger get my coveted no penalties award. Congratulations to you guys. Half the field that finished got the award. So there you go. It's not too bad.
Half the field of the finished, which means it's a quarter of who started.
Which isn't much.
Yeah, a handful of drivers at that point. But there you go. You can put that on your CV, the coveted Andy Campbell No Penalties Award. Well, Andy, it has been a good night of racing, that is for sure. And we're waiting now to see who has got the result. But you've got to feel sorry for TUF. None of those cars finished, and one of those was a connection issue as well, which I know is frustrating. So the future of TUF in League One is to be decided whether or not the Academy team, as Alan said in the downtime between these two races, whether the Academy team of TTG will be allowed to be promoted, or whether TUF will be able to be safe and keep their League One spot.
Yeah, we'll need to wait and see how that one pans out, if that's the case or not. But it's such a shame. Obviously, we seen Max was in the chat. He was not too chuffed at all with the connection issues. Quite a lot of connection issues during that race as well, which is really, really frustrating to see. We ended up with 19 drivers starting and only 10 finishing. Seen quite a few crashes. Multiple drivers caught out into turn number 12 as well. And Alan has got the final standing. So drum rolls, please. Who is the winner of the Esports Mini League this time round, Alan?
So the final point standings are as Visceral Racing, VSR, in first with 207 points. In second place is TMC with 185 points. Third place goes to Livid Esports with 170 points. Fourth place for TTG with 149 points, and fifth place for Tough with 102 points, who didn't score any points at all, unfortunately, in round 4.
So then, congratulations to VSR, who remain undefeated in the mini league. I just want to say a big thank you to Alan, who does all the points every single time we do this. So it's a job we know I can't do. So that's that. But yeah, that's the results then. Well, of course, upload those later on Twitter so you can share those results. Well, thank you, Andy and Alan. It's been an absolute pleasure. And Andy, I'll let you sum up tonight's race in, I don't know, a tweet.
Oh goodness, so I get 240 characters to work with. Okay, well, it was definitely a fun night, plenty of good racing, few controversial moments you could say possibly as well, but someone needs to come along and try and knock Visceral Racing off the top of their perch. That's, think, if I've got my maths right, that's 5 in a row now since we started doing these TTG Esports mini leagues back at the start of the year. Someone needs to come along. TMC though, you know, not an actual esports team, as a league, and what a result from them, you know, coming up in second. Showed some very strong performances over both weeks as well, so hopefully we'll see them back in the next one as well, because they could be one to watch out for based on that performance. But yeah, I feel sorry for TUF, you know, with all the disconnections in the end. We'll need to wait and see what happens there, and I know I've gone over 240 characters before anyone points out. But yeah, another good night worth of racing, and these things are always good fun and always such enjoyment. I hope you all enjoyed it as well, watching along over both weeks. Thank you for joining us across both the leagues as well. Tonight with myself and Kieran. Last week it was myself and Jack, and obviously on League One it was with James, and I believe Alan, you were in the commentary box with James as well, were you not?
Well, it was from one commentary box to another for me tonight. It was good racing in the earlier races, and it continued on through League One, so long may it continue.
We've got Kermit the Frog in the chat there asking, when's the next one? Good question. We don't know either. But make sure you keep following all of those leagues then. There will be an announcement sooner or later for the next mini league. Well, thank you very much for watching. This is where the stream ends. Again, thank you very much for watching. Follow all of those leagues, as I said before, all their Twitter handles. Thank you for watching. I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been Andy Campbell.
And I've been Alan Kearns.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.
Ta-da.